Hey Vudoo fans, we thought we'd take the time to go over the Vudoo Möbius 1911 that we offer. It's available in both 9mm and 45. Thought I'd speak to the differences just a little bit first, and then I'll go through all the various options that are available, and I have a selection of them here that covers most of those options, so that you can make a more informed choice while you're ordering one. But one of the things that we do here at Vudoo with the Möbius is take a very different approach on the front end of how we build this thing. We do it with a level of precision and in a method on the parts that we build, not currently being employed by any other manufacturer in the industry. And we believe it brings you ultimately a superior product that we can build faster for you from a lead time standpoint, but still have the level of quality that you would expect from a high-end 1911 like you would get from any of the well-known major custom manufacturers out there. With that being said, most of the time you'd find a manufacturer starting with a forging or something of that nature, which is a great way to go, but there's only a certain amount of precision that can be put into that part when it's first being machined, because it's already in its semi-completed state externally. So our approach is we start with a solid piece of billet. This plate right here is an example. It's not light. It's a solid piece of billet 416 stainless. And where we depart from what everybody else does is we manufacture our frame in two separate halves out of two separate billets like this. And what that allows us to do is we can hold tolerances inside here super tight and super critical. It also allows us to use shorter, fatter machining tools, which means greater precision, less chatter, surface finishes that are out of this world, which you can feel when you work the slide on one of our frames. It is quickly apparent. It feels like a gunsmith has spent the 12-15 hours that they normally do hand fitting one of these, and we can achieve that fit, finish, and feel by just doing really good machine work at the beginning. So we take those two halves that are machined out of a billet, and then we join them with a very neat method called electron beam welding. And it joins these two halves. The really neat thing about electron beam welding is it is super precise. It's been around a long time in the aerospace industry. It's not a new technology, so it's very well thought out. And it fuses these parts together, but it has a very narrow heat dispersion when it does it. It has complete penetration. It becomes as if it were originally one piece. So there's no loss in integrity of strength. In fact, some would argue that there is even more in the method. In fact, in our destructive testing, as we try to destroy these things after they're final machined into what you will see here in our frames, it doesn't fail at what would be the electron beam weld. Usually some other part finally just starts to warp as we abuse it severely to see where it will come apart. So it's a really neat technology, approach, and method that allows us to keep a giant amount of precision inherent in the original part, so that we don't have to do the level of hand fitting necessary to bring you that hand fit feel, which these guns have. Ultimately, it ends up in something like this. This is a two-tone. I'm going to take the time to go through our quick basics, but all of these have some variant of optional stuff that come on them as well, and I wanted to cover that so that you're aware of options that are available with the Vudoo Möbius 1911. This is a two-tone. This is a all stainless gun. Everything on this gun, save for some of the pins, are stainless. This is a better example of an iron-sighted stainless gun without any of the additional options. This is the standard firearm and how it comes. We make all of these parts. We make all the critical fitment components. The only things we don't make are the grips, which we do with a couple of sources, but VZ, who does a phenomenal grip, does it. We use a hammer and some pins from standard industry sources. One of the things that you'll see amongst these is our very awesome all billet one-piece trigger in different configurations. This one here is what we would call a long webbed trigger. This one here is a standard length skeletonized trigger. If you can see it though, and I'll try to go slow, this is machined from one solid piece of billet. This trigger bow that goes around the magazine is inherently part of the pad that you would put your finger on. So that is one solid piece. It allows us to hold a tolerance really, really good and really, really tight. They don't loosen up over the course of time. That can often happen with the pad and the bow because they're not mechanically attached. They begin in that fashion. And in the guns that you'll see here, that I'll show you, there's various iterations of them. We can do them black, leave them stainless, skeletonized or not, and long and short, so that we can fit the gun to your needs. So, stainless. Two-tone. And I'll reach over here and grab an example of an all black gun. So those are our three bases that you will find, and from there we can do all kinds of options and modifications. I'll use this one as an example. This has a flared magwell option on it. This has a black skeletonized trigger, and it also has a fiber optic, an optional fiber optic front sight. They come standard with a black blade. One of the super cool additional options that we offer on it is what we would call the defense frame, which comes with a Picatinny rail, dust cover, so that you can attach your lights, lasers, or anything that you might want to do there. It's done super tastefully, we believe, and aesthetically really nice and pleasing. This one also has the optional ambidextrous safeties for any of you lefty shooters or guys that just want to go weekend. It has on this one a set of aluminum, specially done by us, Vudoo grips. We have these in several different flavors you'll find on the website, but they're very cool. And this one also has the flared magwell. Of course, in the case of this gun, you're also seeing our optics cut slide, which has no front sight on it, so it's clean. This one's cut for a Leupold Delta Point Pro, which takes some other sights out there, like the EOTech E-Flex and several of those. To further expound kind of on the optics cut slide, one of the unique things we do, and I'll try to go slow here so you can see, is we use an entirely different slide for this so that we can flare out the metal here in the machining process, and our slide is natively cut for the optics. So there's no plate system that you have to use first. It keeps the optic as low as it can possibly be, and it just eliminates other fasteners and parts that can fail, that are in motion on the slide. So it's a really neat way to go. It's very aesthetically pleasing in our opinion. We hope that you agree, and we do it for the Leupold Delta Point Pro and the Trijicon RMR cut, which covers a whole host of other optics done by other manufacturers as well that will go into the RMR cut. We have some additional cuts coming, but those are our primary ones for now. Just to give you an idea of what can additionally be done, this one is FDE, Cerakoted on top of the nitriding, and then all of the black parts, the mainspring housing, the flared beaver tail grip safety rather, the barrel bushing are all done in black nitride, and it gives it a really neat, cool look. In our opinion, all those parts could be bright as well instead of all black. And this is one more, this is a shop favorite. This is our Vudoo green color. I don't know if it'll come up on camera very well, but it is very gray green. It looks an awful lot like the early Parkerizing green that you would have found on a M1 Garand or a M1A. So it's super cool. This one has the rosewood grips on it, which gives it a super classic look. But of course, all of the different grips that you've seen here are available and options. Many of them at no cost. There's a carbon fiber one and the aluminum ones that do cost more, but most of these are you choose, and it does not affect the cost. So hopefully that gives you a good overall picture of the various options that are available on our 1911. As of now, they're all 5-inch guns. We do have 4 1/4-inch guns, commander style lengths, in the works and coming soon. If there's any additional questions that I didn't cover, I hope you call the shop. If you have any questions while you order, please give us a holler and we'll get it taken care of for you. Thanks.